wishing my love away, telling me that you won't stay. Didn't matter what I said, didn't care what lied ahead. Kept doing it on your own. No love for me you show. In spite of your selfish pride, my arms are open wide. Never know just how I feel.
Real life street stars. We in here with Sha'ne. What's going on?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
That's what's going on. I see you got Boss Man in here.
Glad to be here.
Look like he related to Terry Lewis. It's like, oh man. Yeah, man. We finna get into it. Doing it a little different. Explain the style of music that you make.
Well, I grew up with gospel music, so that's pretty much what I kind of stick to. And I added a little bit of jazz because there's a particular artist that I grew to love. His name is Daryl Coley. He's a gospel artist. He's now deceased, but I loved his style of gospel music. It had a jazz feel, so I was kind of drawn that way. Okay. So I consider it kind of gospel jazzy.
Okay, that's kind of new right there. What to my ears.
Yeah.
Who did you? How did you meet up? And because I know you do the instrumental part of the music. Am I correct?
Yes, correct. Basically, for this track, I developed the music, okay? And after I developed the music, I called one of the best musicians I know, and he just took it to a whole nother level. His name is Kenny Mahone. He exploded it into what you heard a little while ago. Yeah, so after I developed the music, he just took it to that next level, totally.
And what is the single, the name of the single that you guys are pushing?
The name of the single is My Heart, and that's by the artist Sha'ne.
How long have you been, you do the jazz, right?
Actually, I started out doing jazz, then I segued into doing gospel music. But I've been in the game, realistically over 30 years, because I got into the game by being a sound man doing audio. So I've done audio engineering for live shows, and I've also done international tours, which she'll be going on her tour next year, starting with Sydney, Australia. Then we hit the UK. Then we hit Japan. Then it's back here. So that's the My Heart tour, or actually the Promises tour. Next year in 2018.
Now, Sha'ne, your voice, it kind of reminded me of some of the artists that I grew up listening to that really had a voice. How long have you been singing? And when did you notice that you could sing?
Well, I was born and raised in church, like most of us. Started singing in the choir when I was about 11. And I led my first song, actually, when I was about 12. And I didn't really know I can sing. It was just something that I liked to do. And then as I got older and older, I started singing more, and I noticed people really started to like the way I was singing. And when you hear those applause, you think, oh, I guess I can sing a little bit. So I started, and then I kind of got into a group, actually, in California, and we traveled around and all that, and I was kind of wanting to do my own thing, but was kind of scared to jump out there, being compared to all these other gospel artists. So I kind of took my time, and then about 10 years ago, I started writing my own music and kind of put them to the side until I was ready. So every song on this album that I'm working on is original music. Yeah, so.
Is this your first project?
It is.
What does it take for gospel jazz? Obviously, we're this is probably our first time encountering. What all does it take in order to create and compose a song of that nature, where there's a lot of instruments and the singing and all that?
Well, it takes first to know some talented musicians, and then what you hear in your head, like with my husbander is what I call him because this is my husband and manager at the same time. But with this particular track, My Heart, he's the one that really heard the music. I wasn't really hearing the music. I just wrote the words. So he kind of took what I was writing and he told me what he was hearing. And then he had the music composed and all of that. So he took the music way beyond what I was expecting.
Now, see, now that's a special thing. It's a group. I want to say, I think Kendrick, and they were married, and Kendrick, yeah, and that you can tell it was real. You know what I'm saying? And I could hear that in the. Now that I know that, that makes even more. Yeah, the song makes more sense. Exactly. So, and that's a special thing, man. That's truly love. How is it working with your significant other?
It's amazing. It's just really amazing because it's one thing when you link up in the natural. It's a whole different situation when you take that chemistry with your creative juices to flow to create music.
Yeah.
So it's like if I want to finish a sentence, I'm going somewhere with it. She'll know what I'm about to say before I even finish the sentence. And when it comes to music, if I'm hearing something, I'll be able to take her to the next level musically when she didn't even know where it was going to go. And that's what happened with My Heart.
Oh, really?
Can I answer a little bit of that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
It's for me. He pulled things out of me I didn't even know was in there. Being my spouse, he didn't let me get lazy or take it for granted or whatever. He was pulling what he saw in me out for this album, and I have to thank him for that because with other managers or producers I may work with, they would just kind of let me do my own thing, but he didn't go for that.
Yeah.
Is it weird to your first single right out the gate just sound that good?
Yeah.
That's kind of a feat, isn't it? When you just sit back in the studio like, yeah, we got one.
Because I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I don't really just listen to gospel like that. Like I love Kirk Franklin. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess because he's more mainstream or whatever, I hear more. But
Yeah.
it's like it's jazz. It's it already puts you in a good mood anyway. You know what I'm saying? Then having some positive words behind it, you can't go wrong, man.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that right there, you just described the recipe for success. It was insane working with it like that, and like she had alluded to earlier, when she told me the lyrics that she was thinking about, and she was like, I have these lyrics, but I don't know what kind of music to put to it. I just have these really powerful lyrics.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, let me see what you got. I kid you not. As sure as I'm looking at you right now, when I read the first sentence, the first thing that happened, I heard in my ears, I heard trumpets off the jump just from looking at the words. I heard trumpets. Then when I heard the trumpets, I heard the drums, I heard the bass. I heard all of this crazy arrangements in my head just from reading the first lyric. So by the time I read all the lyrics, I had the whole song composed in my head. So then
That's crazy.
it is. And then I reached out to my man, Kenny Mahone, who's a phenomenal musician. As you heard on the keys and the drums and all that, I reached out to him.
He did the keys and the drums?
He's a beast. Kenny, I'm telling you, Kenny Mahone is a vocal.
We need to get Kenny
He's
Mahone
a
up
vocal
here,
beast.
Man. Get him up here.
So after I reached out to him, and he just took what I heard in my head to the next level. So I kind of consider him my musical translator. So whatever I have in my head, I'll say, Kenny, here's what I'm hearing. And he'll give me what I want and then some. And then my cousin-in-law through family, his name is Medeiros Dixon. Oh my goodness. He's the one that was killing it on the saxophone that you heard. That was all him. And it was like, he was a joy to work with, easy to work with, and he nailed it from the gate. So I'll put it like this. If you have a good song, you have a good crew and a good team, you can't do anything but succeed and go to
Right.
the top.
Right. So is there an actual release date or a projected date for the album to come out?
For the whole entire album,
Yeah.
it's
Or
December.
we still working on?
We're actually still working on it, but it's December 21st is actually the street date, and that's my birthday.
Oh,
And I wanted it to drop before Christmas
Right.
because there's going to be a couple Christmas tracks on there as well.
That's
so.
nice. People don't make enough Christmas music.
I know.
They don't. I'm curious as to doing gospel jazz. What are some of the ways that you go about promoting and getting heard in Dallas? I'm just curious.
Well, actually, there's different venues
Right.
that I would like to pursue. First and foremost, everybody who knows anybody, unless they're living under a rock, has social media. Whether it's
Facts.
Twitter, Instagram,
Right.
Facebook, Snapchat, or who knows. So definitely, because we have a strong following and somebody is 700 friends deep on Facebook, we definitely do the whole social media game
Right.
to make that happen.
Right. That's great, man. So you get your album's coming out in December.
Yes.
You got one single behind you.
Yes.
Do you have an upcoming single after this one already in the works, or
Yes,
is it?
I actually have two, and
Okay.
I couldn't decide because I'm in love with both of them.
Okay.
So there's two that I'm really working on like back to back, and so I don't want to just keep dropping singles.
Right.
So those are just the two I'm working on
Right.
for the album.
Right. And where
Yeah.
will people be able to find the music? You say it's going to be on all the distribution sites like iTunes and things like that?
Actually, it's already in rotation on everything on social media.
There you go.
It's on iTunes.
There you go.
It's on Google Play Music. It's on Amazon MP3. It's on CD Baby. And of course, if you go to her website, Sha'neMusic007.com, you can definitely hear it and download it. And I guarantee you, sitting here now, I promise all of you, this will be the best $1.29 you ever spend in your life.
Don't
I
get
mean,
it.
realistically, if you think about it, a medium French fry from Mickey D's costs more than this single.
Let's go.
That's right.
Let's go.
So you won't be sorry. Promise me.
That's right. Let's
I
get the
promise
support out
you
there.
will.
Let's get the support out there.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. Is there any other projects, just in general, from the your label that you want to touch on?
Actually, there is, because Sha'ne is the first of 4 artists I'm releasing within the next 8 months.
Okay.
She's the first out the gate. The second artist is a very talented vocalist by the name of William Wilmore III. Okay? He's working on a project that's going to knock your socks off. The third artist is an artist actually from the United Kingdom. Her name is Joelle Moses. I'm working with her, and we're going to do her first gospel album under my label, Polk Entertainment Group. And what makes it so interesting, she was the second runner-up on Britain's Got Talent, The Voice.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
major.
And when I tell you she's a heavy hitter, this female is a heavy hitter. So we're just trying our best to bring the public, the world, something that they're going to love, fall in love with, but most importantly, something that's centered upon God and Christ.
Now, for somebody watching this interview that just might fall in love with you as a manager, do you take new clients? If so, what are the requirements? What do you look for in those artists?
I do accept new clients, and if they want to reach me, I'll actually talk to anybody because I love networking.
Right.
That's how I got into the business, by networking. So if they want to reach me, they can contact me at polkentertainmentgroup.com, and they can send my email and contact information is there, and I would love to hear whatever they would love to share. And if I can work with them, fine. If they have representation and management, definitely contact me, but let your management team know what you're doing. So this way, if I call you, they're not like, where's this guy coming from? I'm the manager, so you have to go through, you know how the story goes.
Right. We know how it goes. So one last question. What do you think the role of a successful and good manager should be? Because I heard there's some managers that I know, and a lot of people say that they get the role of manager and booking agent confused. So you break down for me what you think a good manager role is?
A good manager is somebody that can be there for the artist in every way imaginable, including ways that the artist doesn't even know about. I mean, if you're going to be a really good manager and work your weight in management, you need to look at the small details that the artist won't even think about before she thinks about it. And you have to be there to answer those issues. If I could, for example, everybody wants to be a singer or a rapper or an artist, and they want to go on tour and they want to make millions of dollars. Okay, that's cool. But when you put that under the microscope, you take John Doe, artist, who's really good. I want to do a tour in 6 states. Okay, let's do it. Well, it's not like the next day John went on tour. Work goes into that because I can fly you to California, I can fly you to New York. When we get to there, somebody's got to meet you at the airport to take you to where you should have your accommodations to stay at. Somebody's got to set up the negotiations for the venue to make sure it's just not you and the text at the venue. Somebody's got to promote it. So there's a lot of work that goes into it other than just saying, I want to sing or I want to rap.
Message.
That's right.
Real talk.
That's right.
Now, one question for you. Do you do any ghost writing? You're a writer, so I know with the music industry these days, they have things that I don't know if it's the same in gospel, but in rap, I see a lot of the producer and artist will make a song and shop it. Does that happen in gospel? If so, are you doing some of that?
It can happen. I just tend to fall in love with what I write, so I keep mine. But it can happen. Somebody can ask you to write something for them, and if you're not really feeling the song, you can have it. But most of the songs that I usually get for a reason. Like if I'm going through something or I'm dealing with something. Like my very first song that's going to be on this album, I wrote is called Promises, which is actually the title of the album. I wrote that song at like 3 a.m. in like 20 minutes. And it was because my brother was dying. And I was basically standing on the promises that God told me that he would see me through no matter what I was going through. And I just got out of bed and just started writing. And then when he passed away, I was singing that song in the hospital. So that song means so much to me, and that's why I've held on to that song for this album. And that's the title of my album and also the title of my tour. So that means a lot to me. But most of the songs that I do have always hit close to home, so I keep them.
Right. Yeah, I always wondered how like a writer can give away so many hits.
No.
Do you have any shout outs? Anybody you want to shout out?
To my family in Seattle, hey, what's up? To my family and friends here in Dallas, to the Potter's House of Fort Worth, that's my home church. To my son in Seattle, Masray Butler, what's up? Mommy loves you.
Now I got
to my little one over there.
Yeah, the little one in the back playing games.
Ty, he knows I love him. Just to everybody, to social media, to everybody that's going to download this track. I believe you're going to download it.
I'm going to download.
Those
you got my $1.29.
Those that download the track, and even those that don't, I still, even for watching this, I just appreciate your support, your love and support. You won't be sorry. You'll love it. And I just thank you in advance for your support and your love. Yeah.
Thank y'all for coming out. Y'all are some real gospel street stars.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Just want to say one thing before we close.
Yeah.
In 2018, everybody, please stay tuned. There's an incredible film I have coming out entitled The Calling. Okay? The Calling is a movie, I promise you, it will not only get you up in your seats, it will bring tears to your eyes, and it has a purposeful meaning. And this is the kind of introduction that the church needs to be made to everybody, from the church world to the streets, okay? This film appeals to everybody. And one of my artists that I mentioned earlier, William Wilmore III, that's doing a music project with me, is the star of The Calling. So when I tell you this is a film that you want to get involved, I promise you. You want to keep your eyes out for The Calling 2018, and I promise you, you will not regret it one bit at all.
Dig that. Calling.
Shout out ReallyfeStreetStarz, nigga. Move it. Hey.